you better be pretty set to hit your impales time and time again, because if you're missing your impales, the pick is useless.
Well, it doesn't matter now because Lance is banned, so he won't be seen in this game. Interesting ban from Cerberus. Team SoloMid hasn't really shown too much of a preference for him so far in the tournament, but Flicker ban coming from TSM on side B. Maybe a little nightmare there from earlier against Hack. They were like, we didn't like this. We haven't maybe played up against it enough in NA.
What it basically did, though, is it said pick one of the OPs. This is a strategy that some people have gone down with. If you don't see both of them banned, some teams will just say, well, I'm not going to ban it either, which means if I don't get Kestrel, I get Lyra. If I don't get Lyra, I get Kestrel.
And that's exactly what's happened. Koshka is the second pickup for Team SoloMid as well, so sticking on that heavy jungle aggression. I also think that taking the Flicker away denies a little bit from Net Toilet because he's known as a roamer who likes to facilitate his lane, and Flicker is incredibly potent at doing that at the moment. Now, Blackfeather is a next lock-in for Gankstars Cerberus.
I mean, it is interesting when Lyra's the first pick to pick up Koshka like immediately. Like, two of Koshka's abilities are completely negated by Lyra's Bulwark anyway, so it's pretty rough. They must feel really confident, and once again we get back to the whole thing of, has Cerberus really had any time to prepare against Koshka comps? And my guess is no.
So I think the reason TSM keep going for this is because Vonsi is so aggressive, is so dominant from the get-go that even if Lyra has these countering abilities, TSM are usually so far ahead at the point that it comes into play that actually it doesn't matter too much.
Having the Adagio alongside it facilitates it so well as well. You can put that Gift of Fire or the Ancient of Rathsai either on the Koshka or on the Kestrel, and you get a huge damage spike.
Well, here we go. This is going to be Gankstars Cerberus fighting for their tournament lives right now. If they draw this up, we get a three-way tie in Group B, North America and Europe going toe-to-toe once more. If North America, TSM win this, they take the first seed of the group, and North America in general...
Lyra has a little bit better in terms of heal. She's got a lot of utility in her kit, but hang on. 2v2 in the jungle.
TennoJJ actually taking quite a bit of damage there. Iraqis are rotating down from the lane. There's the afterburn onto Vonsi from TennoJJ, and it's going to be Vonsi, the first one to fall in this fight. Net Toilet picking up that first kill. Now Flash X getting focused down by Iraqi Zoro and TennoJJ. It's going to be TennoJJ securing kill number 2. And now they're on the hunt for Best Chuck, but it looks like he's going to be able to get out safely. 2 kills going over to Gankstars Cerberus here at the beginning. A different start from we saw last game. Vonsi actually the first one to fall.
I mean, after all I said about Gankstars Cerberus and the lack of the early game, they show up like that. That's what we're looking for.
I think that's the key right there. You just have to initially just say, you know what, these guys are not going to do well in the early game. Boom, they're going to do well.
Actually, I think what happened there was Gankstars Cerberus, they were just a little bit, just responded faster. We had a faster rotation coming out from the lane. Iraqi Zoro came down, whereas Best Chuck NA was a little bit late, and at that point, Vonsi had lost so much health already.
Yeah, Vonsi got focused down almost immediately. And on top of that, a lot of early scout traps coming in from Net Toilet, and in very nice placements as well. You can see that he's just peppering them around the middle of the map for the most part, just to get vision onto TSM as to whether or not they're actually going to be going in for those jungle invades that they're so potent in doing. So now we see TSM rotating up as a group of 3. And right now, it just seems like Gankstars Cerberus are perfectly happy to go ahead and just be farming up for a little while here, allowing this Blackfeather to start ramping up.
I mean, Iraqi Zoro is taking a very safe position under the turret, and I think that's a very good idea, especially when you have this very aggressive team playing against you. You can probably expect that they will be trying to die for you at some point, but just staying behind there just allows them to farm, and it just helps them move towards the later game.
Oh, we see a lot of damage coming in from Best Chuck with those Glimmer shots. However, every member of Gankstars Cerberus here ready to lay down some poke. We do see the Bright Bulwark coming down just pretty much onto Flash X, but the members of Gankstars Cerberus forced to back off here. Not a lot they can really do, just a lot of wasted time here in the lane. However, Vonsi in the back part of Gankstars Cerberus' jungle going to be able to recall to safety as they go ahead and shop.
He's still 12-12 in terms of CS compared to TennoJJ. But Best Chuck NA, he's falling behind Iraqi Zoro just a little bit, by 8 CS behind, and it's not that big a difference. But wait, hang on, is that Crystal Blackfeather?
That is indeed a Crystal Blackfeather with a Book of Eulogies and a Swift Shooter. Okay. This is going to be an interesting lane matchup, I think.
They did mention this. They did mention this in their interviews, that they would potentially will be pulling out this Crystal Blackfeather. And
I feel like it could work though, especially against the Kestrel, because the on point's going to do so much damage. It's going to be on such a low cooldown as well. it's going to mean Best Chuck really can't have the opportunity to throw down active camos to get away.
I guess, but I suppose when you've got a Lyra there, I'd have thought the weapon Blackfeather would have worked a little bit better because you have that extra sustain, and I'm just kind of curious to see what he'll be building for in terms of items with this Crystal Blackfeather. We don't see too many of them, to be honest.
Definitely, but I feel like they have to bring out something like this because right now Gankstars, they are fighting for their lives in here at Worlds. They want to be able to stay in. Ooh, a nice afterburn coming in from Techno JJ, doing a decent amount of damage onto Flash X. However, it's not going to do all that much as far as getting them a kill. Meanwhile, Vainglory doing Vainglory things here in the back part of Gankstars Cerberus' jungle, just taking away their back farm. However, it seems like Gankstars Cerberus pretty much have an idea that he's doing exactly that, so they're just going to go ahead and farm up as much as possible on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and that way they are denying Gankstars Cerberus farm, and it's a very efficient method. One thing I'm a little bit confused by is that Gankstars Cerberus, they have this glaive there, and one thing that we always say about glaive is in the early game, before anyone picks up a reflex block, you should try and take advantage of that. Use those afterburns, try and gank the laner, especially when you're against a Kestrel. It's just so easy. Oh, Techno JJ!
Techno JJ eating a decent amount of damage there from Vainglory as well as the minion miner. However, no kill going to be going over to TSM here. Still no kills going over to TSM now that I really look at the scoreboard, which is a little surprising considering how often we see Vainglory in the early game just getting kill after kill after kill. And we saw it last game with that Koshka.
I think they're just mixing up the playstyles a little bit, and I think that's certainly a good method to be trying to... It's certainly something that they try and do, because otherwise they become predictable. This way, Gankstars Cerberus, you don't really know what they're trying to do, but what it seems to me is that Team SoloMid, they're just focusing on trying to get the gold lead very early on.
And right now, it just seems like they're able to not quite get the gold lead, but stay even as far as the gold is concerned, mostly due to the fact that Vainglory's been in the back part of Gankstars Cerberus' jungle so frequently that he's taking away a lot of gold from Techno JJ, who's fallen quite behind on this glaive.
Yeah, he has, and probably that is the reason because Vainglory has been going to his jungle time and time again, denying that farm away from him. And right now, he looks like he's going to be going for that Aftershock Koshka as opposed to the Shatterglass Koshka that we've been seeing from him in his previous games playing that Koshka. And I think that works really well because we usually see Glaives, Blackfeathers, Lyras, they usually go quite tanky, and that gives a great burst against him. But with this Crystal Blackfeather, it's mixing things up.
And one thing about the Crystal Blackfeather that I want to take a look at is the fact that he started an alternating current. So he's going to be doing a decent amount of damage once the fights actually break down. And ooh, we're actually going to see Vainglory jumping right onto Iraqi Zoro. There is the Sigil just going down, giving themselves a little bit of healing on the side of Gankstars. No real kills or like lethal damage going down on either side. Team SoloMid still posturing to try and make something happen here. Here comes Flash X. He's going to be slowing down that toilet. There's the Versa Judgment coming down. Not going to do too much as it almost gets Iraqi Zoro there at the end, but he did use Rose Offensive to get away. One shot, one kill comes out from Best Chuck, and they're not going to be connecting onto anybody. And Gankstars Cerberus just going to go ahead and collect themselves and go right back to what they were doing before, just farming up. Flash X going to be finding that scout trap. Meanwhile, in the lane, Best Chuck, and they're going to get taken down with a Rose Offensive. Another kill going over to Gankstars. Iraqi Zoro now trying to get away here. I don't think he's going to be found by Vainglory. Vainglory is on the hunt in the jungle, and he's going to recall. Is he going to get out safely? There's the flare, and he does get out alive.
Well, that's Crystal Blackfeather just showing Best Chuck NA what is up. And I've got to say, it's a very, very different game from last time. There's so much aggression this time, and both teams, they've certainly taken the back foot in terms of just focusing on farm. We haven't seen the gold mine being taken. I think if you look at the turrets, not much damage has been done either. It's a very, very slow game right now. Very different. Oh, hang on.
Iraqi Zoro nearly getting taken down by Vainglory. However, he's going to be able to stay alive. Vainglory actually going to be the falling into this fight here against Techno JJ. And on the other side, Flash X is actually going to be taking down Iraqi Zoro. So one kill going over to both sides. TSM's first kill on the board and Gankstars' fourth kill on the board. So right now, it's TSM trying to get some pressure here in the lane. That's why they're going to be eating that one shot, one kill. However, not too much to be worried about here on the side of Gankstars. They do have that Lyra, so they're just going to be able to heal themselves up very efficiently, as you can see right there. Just going to throw down the Sigil, and boom, we're already at half HP again. That's
a great thing about Lyra, is that healing coming out from her is just so fantastic. If the whole team can disengage, oh, Best Chuck NA.
Oh, Best Chuck NA getting caught with that afterburn. That toilet going to be doing a decent amount of damage with that Lyra as well, and going to be picking up the kill for herself. 5 kills to 1. For Gankstars Cerberus here, and they're really putting on a clinic against Team SoloMid. They saw what happened last game, and they realized, okay, you know what, we have to adapt. We cannot allow Team SoloMid to have any early game aggression whatsoever.
Well, now that Netwell has the Crucible, I think it takes a large factor away from some of TSM's engages with the Versa Judgment. We saw Flash X earlier on using his boots to try and get as close to them as possible and try and land the Versa Judgment. They have the Crucible ready to block that now.
And on top of that, you have the Crucible ready for Vainglory to jump onto somebody with Yummy Catnip Frenzy. And the only real target that he has honestly is Techno JJ, because you have Iraqi Zoro that he sees Kosh coming towards him, he's just going to Rose offensive away. Iraqi Zoro actually getting taken down quite low. Net Toilet going to be eating that one-shot, one-kill, but just walks through the sigil, heals right back up. Not too much going to be worried here for Gankstars Cerberus. Now TSM still, again, trying to put some pressure here in the lane. However, the turret is still fairly healthy. Vainglory actually doing a decent amount of damage. That Twirly Death actually did a lot to Iraqi Zoro. And Iraqi Zoro and the rest of Gankstars Cerberus is going to be forced back as the first turret of the game being taken down by TSM.
Best Chuck and A had the Agent of Wrath on him, which I think explains in part why they were doing so much damage. And they were Best Chuck and A was just able to poke away with the Glimmer shots onto Gankstars Cerberus over and over again. And this has probably been the first major move that we're seeing in this game. They've taken the first turret, they've taken the gold mine. That's just given them about 2k gold lead.
And on top of that, it's going to give a lot of room for Team SoloMid to start posturing around the map. Lay down those scout traps and position yourselves properly so that you can take advantage of Techno JJ being on that glaive. You catch him out, chances are he actually is going to end up getting taken down because he doesn't have a reflex block completed. And Net Toilet, for the most part, has been sticking around Iraqi Zoro.
I think one thing that is slightly worrying is that neither Iraqi Zoro or Techno JJ have that reflex block. And as you said, Iraqi Zoro can block it with his Rose offensive. Part of the reason I'm thinking is Netwell is just holding onto the bulwark, so if Koshka does jump in, they can completely isolate Vainglory. So I think that's why we're seeing a bit more of a tentative approach coming out from Vainglory, and they're picking their fights very, very well. I mean, as it stands, Gankstars Cerberus, they have the lead in terms of kills, but they don't have the lead anymore in terms of gold.
Yeah, right now, I'm looking briefly at the items. Vainglory having completed the Aftershock as well as a Broken Myth, he has the Infusion ready for himself as well. And looking at the other side, Iraqi Zoro still has only completed that Alternating Current. He hasn't completed another Tier 3 item. So he's still falling pretty far behind, all things considered. But there's the Afterburn coming in from Techno JJ onto Flash X. There's the Burst of Judgment coming down as well. And the Burst of Judgment takes him out! Crucible's not going to be able to block it, and it's going to be all three members of Team SoloMid getting a kill there as Gankstars Cerberus get aced, and another turret going to be taken down in favor of Team SoloMid as well. And such a good fight. It was started out by Gankstars Cerberus, but after that Afterburn, they couldn't do anything. They just walked right into a big Burst of Judgment.
Well, Netwell was holding onto the Crucible the whole time. It was not used, and I think that whole team fight could have been prevented had he used it, and we're about to see it again. And I think this is the moment where we do see the Afterburn coming out from Techno JJ, which hits Flash X, not the target he was looking for, and we do see not only the Yummy kind of frenzy, but the Burst of Judgment, which does so much damage to Netwell and Iraqi Zoro. And that was a very, very slick ace coming out from TSM.
Oh, and another fight actually breaking out here in the bottom part of the jungle. Best Chuck and A getting taken down by Iraqi Zoro. We actually saw an infusion being picked up by Best Chuck and A in the middle of that fight. Vainglory going to be taken super low, getting slowed down by Net Toilet. Techno JJ still actually not too healthy here, trying to stay alive against Flash X and Vainglory. Not too much going to be had here for Gankstars Cerberus beyond that one kill onto Best Chuck. However, they did lose Iraqi Zoro in that fight as well.
Yeah, we lost both of the laners there in that last fight, and I think the thing about Blackfeather is when we see him being played as a lane, cheeky little one-shot, one-kill there. Oh, they're going in on that! They're going in!
Oh, Yummy Catnip Frenzy getting blocked by that bulwark. Fantastic job from Net Toilet. There's the Afterburn from Techno JJ trying to get away. Vainglory still on the hunt, but here comes Iraqi Zoro from the base, actually, and he's not going to really be opting to go for that fight, knowing it was a little bit too risky right now, and the fact that TSM's members were all healthy and his members were not. So good choice to just go ahead and back off, not trying to go for anything too aggressive. Another gold payout going over to Team SoloMid.
I mean, Gankstars Cerberus, they've lost a large part of the advantage that they're holding on to. And, you know, we're saying at the very start they need to be hold out a little bit. They were doing very well in terms of keeping it even with TSM. They were a little bit ahead in terms of gold and kills. But that's completely gone now. And I think part of the reason we have to look at the Crystal Blackfeather is, as I was saying before, Blackfeather, he's typically very tanky. That's what allows him to keep him alive. But right now, he doesn't have any of that. When he goes in, he's, you know, this is very much a Crystal Assassin, but he's just being burst down so quickly.
On top of that, one thing you want to do with the Crystal Blackfeather alongside having that Lyra, you want to be poking. You want to be able to just pepper them down with some damage. We are actually see Flash X getting taken on fairly low. One shot, one kill comes out from Best Chuck. Going to be connected onto Net Toilet. Not going to do too much damage. Just going to heal that right back up. But like I was saying, Iraqi Zoro needs to be laying down those on points so frequently, and mostly onto Best Chuck or onto Vainglory, so they don't feel like they're safe there against the entirety of Gankstars Cerberus. But we're going to be seeing a big flank coming in here from Gankstars Cerberus. There's the portal right onto Best Chuck, and he's getting taken solo, but he gets the kill onto Iraqi Zoro. Burst of Judgment comes out as well. Now Best Chuck actually still alive in this fight, getting taken down solo. Techno JJ trying to focus down Vainglory. Vainglory getting healed up by Flash X. That's going to be 2 kills going over to Team SoloMid, as we do see Net Toilet able to recall to safety. And Very unfortunate fight there for Gankstars Cerberus as TSM really trying to put on the pressure here. Now that they know that the base is open for them, they're really wanting to try and get this last ace to go push for another win, as we saw last game.
That was a great engage coming out from Gankstars Cerberus because they do need to focus on Best Truck NA. He's got an insane amount of damage. But what's really good about TSM is, well, we're about to see right now because you see the Arcane Passage onto Best Truck NA. But it's all about that versatile judgment because he's catching, I think, all 3 members of there. It's not being blocked by the Crucible because it's already been forced. And it just makes it so easy for TSM just to pick out individual members of Gankstars Cerberus.
And another thing that I wanted to take a look at is the fact that Von C has been pretty much the one eating all of the healing from Flash X. So Flash X is just basically returning him to full every time TechnoJJ jumps onto him. So the biggest target that you want to take out and burst down immediately is Best Chuck, which they started to do in that fight, but then they switched targets right after that. They didn't actually chase him down.
There's been a few fights. There's actually been two times I can think of in this game where Gankstars Cerberus have started the engage with Glaive onto Flash X. When Best Truck NA was right next to Flash X, and they could have easily gone onto him and probably picked up the kill there. But by going to Flash X, it allows Team SoloMid to respond to that, and that's why I think Gankstars Cerberus aren't doing so well in the team fights right now.
And honestly, now that we're 15 minutes into the game, if that happens again, chances are that's going to be a Kraken. That's going to be a game loss. And Gankstars Cerberus really need to start picking up the pace here and show why they chose this Glaive, because this Glaive pretty much is only sitting on a Sorrow Blade as far as the tier 3 item is concerned. One shot, one kill comes out, lands onto TechnoJJ, and now they're going for the fight. There is the Yummy Catnip Frenzy onto Iraqi Zoro, gets bursted down by Von C. Versatile Judgment comes out from Flash X, not going to connect onto anybody. TechnoJJ going to be falling to Best Chuck. Meanwhile, we're going to see Net Toilet dancing around that Arcane Passive. Meanwhile, Von C going to be chasing him down. There's the Sigil of Healing, and he's going to eventually be taken down by Von C. Von C is just dancing around him. It's actually going to be a kill going over to Flash X with the Burning, and it's going to be an ace going over to TSM. And they're going to go ahead and take the victory here in game number 2 as well against Gankstars Cerberus. Gankstars Cerberus, EU's last hope. Unfortunate here.
We still have Team Secret.
We still have Team Secret.
We still have Team Secret. But I think what we have to look when we look at it, that was a much closer